Yeah, it's fine. You can start the, I will start the.
It is started for now.
Okay, okay. Okay, guys. So all you need to do is, first of all, there's a link given there. It's a GitHub link, and you can go to this link and you can download this exe file. If you are planning to install it on the Linux, you can go to the to this third link, probably this one, tar.gz. So on the Windows itself. So I suggest the same for you guys. So after you have installed it, you can just open. And by the way, as you can see, it has a web link. Okay, and it's running on port 46,000, as you can see it in the URL. So you don't need to do anything. You just, when you're done with the installation, and there are actually some additional packages which will be installed. Open it, it will automatically open it in the URL on your local host. So you don't need to type anything or any port number like we used to do in the Linux. And then all you need to do is you can go ahead and start the new assessment that you want to create. Step by step, you can go through it. Basically, what you need to do. So, for example, this is AWS assessment number one. Okay, you can give the date. These are some optional fields. So as you can see, the one field that is only required is actually the name of the assessment. Um, the facility name, and again, you will be in the groups, so you can work on it as a group. Uh, but I really recommend that if everybody can install it, they can actually get to know how to use this tool. Okay? So the facility name, coding dojo, I can call it, for example, city Riyadh, for instance. And it's up to you if you want to fill all this information. And then, as you can see, you have different options. You have the maturity model option. You want to use the standard risk assessment, and you also want to do the network diagram, for instance. If I go with these two options, standard and network diagram, and as you can see, when I click next, it actually says that if you want to add some contact details, so for example, I can write just, for the sake of it. Okay. The contact information, so demographic basically means that you can mention here what type of sector it is, what type of industry it is. This is also very important, that what is the ground. You can see you have chemical, you have commercial, you have, whatever sector you are working with. So information technology center, for instance. And within information technology center, you can see here, you can further specify the industry. If I go, for example, in the energy sector, you can see there is electric and power generation. So whichever organization that you are working for or doing this assessment for, you can actually fill out that information and then select the industry. So you can see in the real estate, but $1,000, for example. So you can, assume anything. What is the relative expected effort of this assignment? Like, how much time are you going to take, or how much time this assessment is going to take? Is it medium, large, 1 week, 2 week, or small assessment? For example, in our case, it's just a 1 to 2 hour activity. Let's just its levels, right? So what is the overall level of confidentiality, integrity? I mean, this is how it is going to show, right? So uh, and then so these are basically just some definitions. I think this is more like an information that is given there. Okay, so the overall low, moderate, high, you can choose between them. Confidentiality is high, for example, integrity is high, availability is high. Okay. Next part selection. So then your organization is following some standard, or you want your um, assessment to be based on one of these standards, you can actually choose one of them. So you can see all these standards are given there, right? So these are basically specific to the chemical or oil industry, these standards. And then if you come down here, this is the Department of Defense standards, DoD. You come to the electrical, they have some electrical standards. If you go to the financial, I think this is one which is very commonly known to everyone, PCI DSS. These are some general standards that you can choose. Even if you want to choose NIST special publication, you can choose this one. Information technology related. So I'm just saying, if your assessment is going to be based on some kind of standard, you can actually choose that. Or what you can do is you can choose that I want to do a basic assessment in some basic assessment there. Okay. And if you pull down, for example, related to the access agreement, you'll have to answer all these questions. So do you have any access agreement for third party? Let's just say, for example, I have. If you, like I said, there is a lot of assumption here because we're not dealing with an actual scenario or an actual assessment here. Otherwise, you will exactly know what is the answer here. So you can, some of these answers you can assume if you are working for a smaller company, accordingly you can answer. So any are the appropriate agreements finalized before the access is granted? I would say yes, and so on. So you will move like this with this basic assessment and answer questions related to the enforcement, authentication, least privilege, and so on. This is one thing. Network diagram, if you remember, I already selected it. However, it's not really required, but I just want to show you what this network diagram is all about. So if you have selected the network diagram, this is basically in this tool that you can actually give the network diagram of the company for which you are doing the assessment. So if you see here, it says create a network design or diagram. So now, obviously, your company may not have the exact same diagram, which basically it has a lot of templates, as you can see here, related to the wind energy, related to the medical, radio, oil and gas, traffic control, DCS, BCS, SCADA, right, guys? So, what I'm trying to say here is that basically you can actually select one of these template and then modify it, but you are not required to do that in this particular assessment, okay? But I will just show you. For example, if I click on the SCADA, you can see that there's a template, and this template is modifiable. So if you are doing it for a certain company, this assessment, and you already have the network diagram, you can actually modify this one as per the actual network diagram. Okay, as you can see, you have a SCADA firewall, and then it also gives you the option that you can rename it, you can assign IP addresses, whatever you want to do. You see on the right hand side, when I click on the properties, I can just rename it, for example, Dojo firewall, okay. And then I can also assign it an IP address 192.168.10.10. I'm just giving you an example. So in this way, you can actually modify the network diagram. You can add or remove the components. You can save this network diagram, import it as well. You can also import if you have another, network diagram, but the problem with the import is that, probably it might have a lot of issues if you have created it in some other software, or if it's an image, it will actually not work very well with this tool. So either you can use the template and then modify it. This is the better option for this particular tool, and it's not very supportive in terms of other formats. Okay, so now it also impacts if you have the diagram, for instance, and like I have this one. So when you're doing the assessment, actually the questions that it is going to ask is going to be based on the network diagram as well. Okay, so it really, if it's not accurate, or there's too much information in the network diagram, which actually is not there in the real network, then it will actually impact your assessment. So it has to be a bit accurate, I would say, and it should only contain the devices that you actually have on the network for which you are assessing. Only then you can use the network module. Otherwise, you can, if you remember, when I checked these two, network and standard, you can exclude the network diagram and go with the standard assessment. All right. So, and then once you are actually done with these questions, okay, right now, obviously, I haven't filled everything, but eventually you will start getting the results. Like I will show you, for example, there are a lot of questions actually that you may have to answer. And again, as you can see, because I have included the diagram, I recommend don't select the diagram for this particular assessment, okay? Otherwise, it will bring a lot of questions to you. For example, access control is there. Okay, I'm just going to select no. I'm randomly selecting because I cannot go through all of them. Okay, I just want to show you, like, so I'm not really getting score because I haven't answered all the questions accurately, but once I answer, you will get the analysis dashboard, and here you can see basically whether it's actually complying or not. You can see that these are just some of the top ranked categories, and as you can see, I haven't really completed only one or two I have completed, and that's why you can see some of the answers yes and some of the answers no. So eventually we want you to go through this tool. The steps are already given there. All the steps are given there, and then come up with the results, and then those results just submit in the Word file or the PDF file as a summary of your assessment. So the idea is that you can get familiar with this tool for the assessment. Okay, so you have two things to do now. One, which is on the platform, which is based on the scenario. And the second one is this CSET tool. I'm not sure if you can actually link both of them, but you can try to do that because you already have a scenario in the platform assignment. You can try to implement or utilize it in this particular tool. Okay. So yeah, I think that's it for this tool. If you have any questions.
All right.
Actually, it's in the Word file. Is this file shared on in the Discord or no? If not, I will
I'm not
send you
really
now.
sure, but
Okay, so you can see here, this is the GitHub link from where you can download. I'm going to share this Word file, okay, on the Discord.
sure. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So if we can combine both, that will be
I think it will be better. And
okay.
Guys, I
to
was
give
shared
you
the document about the
a
today
better idea on
instruction.
some assumptions at least.
Okay.
Okay, let me just send you the file, and then you guys can go to the rooms and start working, okay, with your respective group.
I shared with you in Discord channel the document about instruction for today's lab. The first one. No, it's shared.
Thank you, Ms. Hadir.
You're welcome, Nusaiba. welcome لميا. خد بالك.
The file is too big, so I need to upload it on in my Google Drive and then share the link. Okay.
Okay, thank you, man.
The recording is still working. I think you forget to stop it.
No, I'm sending you. The first one is for the first lab, which is be shared.
Asad,
Yeah.
can we open the breakout rooms?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, please.
Okay.